Good evening. What's happening, everybody? Welcome. Welcome to Barnabas Brushes. My name is Patrick. I play the character of Barnabas Quint on the Elite Encounters Soul Saver campaign. We play every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can check us out at the Elite Encounters channel link below in the recommended channels. The banner for it's up there. You can recognize the logo. We play Pathfinder 2nd Edition every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern in a homebrew world of Iota Dream. Lots of crazy things going on there. I don't know if you caught the show last night, but we got what's happening with Civil right now while he is in captivity. It was a pretty interesting episode. We got to meet some new characters, some new cast members. What we're doing here on Barnabas Brushes is painting miniatures to use for the Elite Encounters shows. And as Civil kind of mentioned, we do have something brewing in the background. Possibly, well, not possibly, but there is a new show coming. No details on the announcement yet, but we are slowly cooking those things up behind the scenes. And as soon as we have everything nailed down exactly how we want, we're going to announce it to the public when we're going live with that second show. So keep an eye on that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with that. In the meantime, here we're going to be working on some miniatures for the Soul Saver campaign or for other campaigns that we may be playing. And yes, the old paint board here is already starting to see uh, some action. This is a lot of just overspray from painting. Without this, my paint desk looks actually way worse. In fact, a little behind the scenes, this is what my paint desk normally looks like. So this is actually pretty clean comparing to what usually goes on my desk. My wife hates it, but hey, when you're making art, it gets messy. Biggs, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Have a good evening. Hope everything's going well. Hope everyone's staying out of the ice and rain that's happening. Yeah, yeah, it gets pretty ugly. I didn't think maybe for the show that would be a great background, but as this thing gets nasty and nasty, who knows? We'll flip it over and go with the other side, or we'll just get a new one. We'll see. Whew. And I got cat hair flying in my face because Pauline is in the lap as she usually wants to be during this time. So, whew, man, yeah, better keep the pipes dripping and keep the pipes warm because that is insanely cold. All right, so first things first, I do want to talk about some things at the top before we get painting. We have a couple things going on at Elite Encounters and here at Barnabas Brushes. First, we're on our way to getting that 50 follower mark, and once we reach there, we're going to be giving away a custom painted Whiz Kids Beholder miniature painted to your specifications. This is the blank right here. This is the model that I'll be painting for you. Once we get to 50 followers, I'll draw one of those followers at random to win this model. If you're already a follower, great, thank you. You're already in the running. If you have friends or family members that want to get in the running as well, give you an extra shot, have them make an account on Twitch and have them follow the channel as well as all the other Elite Encounters channels. In the meantime, we'll keep building that community and keep growing to that 50, which we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So that's the first thing. The second thing is over on the Elite Encounters channel, link below, like I mentioned. You'll find some links there to our other pages. I want to point out we do have a link to the Patreon there. Patreon is a great way to act as a patron to your favorite artists or content creators by supporting them financially. And everybody who is already liking our pages, following us, subscribing to us on YouTube, that is helping generate growth and exposure through those media. What Patreon allows you to directly say, you know what, I like what you're doing. I'm going to give you a couple bucks a month, and in return, we'll give you something in exchange. So starting at the trained tier, it's a $2 a month tier. We'll get you into an access to our Patreon only Discord channels where you can talk to the cast and crew directly and have kind of a behind the scenes engagement with us. We love talking to our audience and hanging out with you guys. So that's one way to stay in touch with us and give us some behind the scenes tips. Like, I like how you did this. I don't like how you did that. Why do you do this? I wish you would do that. And some of that we might just listen to. Other stuff we might just go, you know what? We're going to do things how we want. But at least you got to talk to us. Uh, I don't know. We're not that dickish, right? The next tier up, is following the Pathfinder tiers of proficiency, is the expert tier. It's a $5 tier. You come in at the $5 tier, not only going to get the access to the Discord, you're also going to get some vinyl stickers that you could put on your laptop. You could put on your snowboard. You could put on your favorite miniatures case, whatever you want to put it on. You can put it on the window of your car if you want. The next tier up is the Master tier, very similar, not similar to, but exactly like the Pathfinder proficiencies. The Master tier, that tier is going to get you an Elite's t-shirt, just like you see me wearing here, as well as everything we mentioned before, the vinyl stickers, the Discord access. You get up to that legendary tier. You're a legendary patron of our channels, supporting us through our growth and some of our goals we have to bring new content and new tech and new materials to you. We're going to get you one of those awesome Elite Encounters hoodies. Those are going to be a zip-up hoodie, full zip-up hoodie with the Elite Encounters logo on the breast area. And man, what a comfortable hoodie! I wear it around the house all the time. If we're keeping the house cold to kind of keep the heating bill down, just throw a hoodie on, and I'm nice and toasty warm for the rest of the day. I'm not wearing it right now because we've got the heat going to stave off this icy rain here. Anyway, that's what I want to talk about the Patreon, about our push to drive to 50 followers here at the Barnabas Brushes channel. But that's enough about that. Let's talk about what we're painting. So for this show on Wednesdays, we're usually painting the Epic Encounters miniatures. We're working on Camp of the Bandit Twins. If you remember last week, we started painting those Mountain Goat Riders. These Epic Encounter kits are miniatures kits that come with a number of miniatures. I think this one has 12, maybe more, 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 18 miniatures in this kit. And they're pretty well sculpted miniatures. They're very sturdy, very nice sculpts. They also come with a double-sided flip mat to use for your favorite role-playing game, and a little booklet that includes all the encounters to use for the miniatures in like a planned little adventure. These are written for the 5th edition of everyone's favorite role-playing game, but it's easily convertible to Pathfinder 1st edition or 2nd edition or whatever other fantasy RPG setting you're using. So definitely check out those Epic Encounters kits if you're into painting cool minis or playing RPGs. So far, we have done most of our these earth elementals. I'm going to put a little white on the base to kind of represent that snow. But these guys are pretty well in the done pile. Once I do the snow on the base, I'll clean up the black, and these guys will get a coating of clear coat to protect the paint job, and they'll go back in the box. Done, done, done. The next set we're working on, these are called the Bandit Archers, and they are on mountain goats. So you can see they got these really cool bows, and they are mounted on these more look like Russian ibexes than mountain goats to me because of the length and curvature of the horn. But mountain goats are going to have shorter black horns and all white coats. That's kind of boring. So I think they did these after ibexes. But we've got one that's kind of in a brown. We've got a second one that has already been slap chopped up, and we might do this in a different color scheme for the goat, just to experiment around with getting away from this brown. But we'll work on this a little bit later. I'm going to set her aside for now and work on the one that we've already got some color on. So you can see we've done some leathers here. We've done the quiver. the word was escaping me there for a second. The quiver. We've got the saddle done. They've got this really cool canteen with this ram's head clasp on it. Belts and saddle. It's going to come all the way around, and they've got some more pouches on the other side of the saddle here. So the leathers are done. The goat's been done. I think we're going to do the horns now. And the horns we're going to do in like a bone color, I think. Um, So working on these models, as you guys already well know, I work almost exclusively with Army Painter speed paints. So this is the first wave of speed paints came out, or what they call the 1.0 formulation. This is one of my favorite colors here, Pallid Bone, which I use for almost all my skeletons and bones and claws and teeth. This is a pigment system that's suspended in a special medium that is very wash-like. It's very flows very easily. So the darker pigments are going to flow into your cracks and crevices, creating shadows, and your brighter pigments are going to stay on top, creating highlights in one one brush stroke. So we're just going to do the horn here. Got a very ornery cat underneath my feet. Uh, so I'm trying to control her and paint at the same time, uh, which is lots of fun. I keep her out of my boxes of stuff. She'll chew on boxes, she'll eat paper, cardboard. Got to keep her out of that. Meantime, I'm experimenting around with some music sets. All right. So I've got those horns painted up with that pallid bone, and you can see that the paint is already uh, going into the texture of that horn with that slap chop prime, providing that texture. And give me 1 second. I'm going to have to corral this kitten and get her entertained somewhere else. All right, so now we'll start working on the rider themselves. And they've got these really cool kind of winter clothes on. And I think what I'd like to do is maybe do like a blue and gray kind of scheme. And they also have these really cool armored knee pads here. You can make that out on camera. They're like studded leather uh, knee pads. So let's see what we've got color-wise for our blues and grays. Okay, for the coat, I think I'm going to use this runic gray, which is a nice blue gray. That kind of ends up kind of almost like a denim color. I think I'm going to do that for the coat, and then the fur around the coat I'm going to do in like a white. And this one has been sitting for some time, so I'm really going to mix that pigment up. It's been sitting for so long that the tip is clogged. We'll get out the old trusty pokey tool, clean out that tip. Start with just a small drop in my palette here, because I think we're just going to do the top of the coat blue. Maybe the pants too. Do like a whole ensemble. I'm just going to put this paint everywhere that there's not that white fur trim. Around the chest there, arms. This really cool hood, this like parka she's wearing. So looking at this model, you definitely get the sense that wherever they are is cold, much like it is across most of the United States today. And do her pants in the same color. Pants have these really cool stitchings down the side that this speed paint will leave highlighted, and the darker parts will stay blue. Okay, so we're going to let that dry on this model. No worries, Peliquin. Better late than never. So thanks for coming in. Hope they got to enjoy their dinner and everything, and you got to as well. Spend some time with the family. So we'll set that aside for now, and let's work on the goat over here. I think what we'll do for this goat is go with maybe a little bit more of a black uh, scheme here. So what we're going to do for the shorter fur, like the body fur uh, and face, is use a lighter black or a grayish black, and then we'll do black for the mane and the hair all on the shanks. Um, so to start off for the fur, we'll use this occultist cloak, which is kind of a dark gray with just a hint of blue in it. So as this occultist cloak goes on, you can see it's a pretty dark blue gray color with kind of some black in the shadows. And as this paints down, it'll put that black in the shadows of the sculpt and keep the bluish gray on the highlights. Just working with the texture of the actual sculpt. Music today is provided by Sirenscape. Sirenscape has a pretty cool interface with lots of music and sound effects for your tabletop RPG system. Uh, with lots of really cool custom overlays, you can build your own soundscapes. Uh, there's a free version that gives you a lot of different songs, a couple different settings to play with. And then it's also you can subscribe or buy module systems depending on what you're playing. If you're playing D&D, you know, Curse of Strahd. There's a Curse of Strahd set of modules that you could purchase to get all the nice sound sets and music that's specifically designed for that campaign. Same thing for Pathfinder. There's a number of different sound sets there. Lots of voice work too. Apparently, they recorded lots of different voice actors for various uh, sound effects. And I think sometimes at Gen Con they'll have a recording booth where they'll be like, "We need to record, a male shout or a male grunt," and they'll let people go in the booth and record, and you know, might pick their. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's lots of modules for all kinds of RPGs out there, not just fantasy settings, not just the standard D&D that you always think of. Very good point, Pelican. Need to figure out how to keep it on a loop. All right, so that's kind of the dark gray of the skin. We're going to go black for the fur. For that, we'll use the old grim black. Might be a settings thing because there is a way to make sure it's looping. Eloquim, you might know how to keep one of the songs on a loop. I guess you just got to find the right one, right? There's another system out there that's just app based called Pocket Bard. It's got some pretty decent sound sets on it that are free, and then they have some like moduled ones. It's you could put it on your phone, so it's kind of like Sirenscape, but slightly different. Lots of options out there for sure. This is really cool with the grim black when you watch it just painting over the texture, all the shadows and highlights play out as you move the paint around over your texture. It's like the very top part of his forehead I need to go back over. Looks like that's been missed. It's right there between the horns. All right, while that's drying, I'm gonna check on my water supply real quick. All right. The old PT doc last night said I need to try and stand up every 10 to 15 minutes if I'm doing sitting down activities, just to relieve some of that sciatica pain. So you might see me getting up from time to time. All right, that looks like we've got all of the fur on this particular goat. Yes. Yeah, for the paintbrush cleaning, I've got a little jar with a lid on it so she can't get into it when I'm done painting. Can't have them drinking the paint water. Can't be good for your kidneys with all that acrylic residue in there. I wouldn't want to drink it. Okay, so now we've got the leather saddle again. So I think we're going to use the same leather color just to set that off from the rest of this black and gray goat here. And that's always hardened leather is usually my go-to for a nice rich medium brown leather. Start here with this canteen. Try not to get that ram's head clasp. We're going to do that in like a metallic. This will also help set the rider apart from the mount, which in the real world, you know, they might be a little bit more uniform in color. They might have, clothing or armor that matches their mount a little bit better. It's realistic, but in painting miniatures, you want a little bit of contrast. You want stuff to catch your eye and kind of pop off the table. So sometimes you have to use very interesting color schemes to make that happen. So there's those two little pouches. There we go. There's the leather saddle canteen. Okay. For their boots, I think I'm going to use a very dark brown. Yes, that's probably true. These guys are bandits, though, so who knows? They're probably just a hodgepodge of whatever gear they've got. So, but yeah, if this was like an army or a band of mercenaries, they would have something that kind of uniformly identifies them together, right? For the boots, I think I'm going to go a couple options here. I think I'm going to go with this color called dark wood. This is a very dark, rich brown. Yes, that's right. They take what they can get. I think this is the color I'm going to do their gloves in as well. Oh, while I have this hardened leather, we need to do their quiver. I'm wondering, Jinx, if the looping issue isn't an OBS issue. I've noticed if I try to start like media players after OBS is already running, it either won't play or it won't loop because something in OBS is interfering with it. So that might be a possibility here. Because I know for a fact, playing with Sirenscape off air, that the songs I'm playing are looping. They do loop. So for whatever reason, they're not now, and I'm wondering if it's not an OBS issue. Something to think about anyway. Like start your music before you launch OBS. Yeah. Hmm, that is weird then. All right, let's go with this dark wood for the gloves and boots. Just need one drop here. Oops. We might also use this color for their studded leather knee pads here. Makes sense that they have a lot of the same colors for their leathers. Once that dries, we can paint those little studs on there. The gloves and boots on our first model as well. Okay. And we'll come back over here to this model. This one's drying down pretty good. Go ahead and do their parka and pants in that same runic gray color. Right, I think that's all of her gear there. We'll let that dry. And we'll have to come back and hit those horns. One second. Right. So for this one, we did those horns in that bone color. I'm not sure I want to do that same thing with the black uh, theme that we have going on with the other model. I don't know if that would just look weird. So we'll probably do the horns in a like a gray, a light gray. Let's see here. I don't know if that's really natural though. When in doubt, take a look at some reference images, right? So, anybody think of a famous black ram or goat? One I can think of right off the top of my head is Charlie, who played Black William from The Witch. It looks like he actually has black fur with gray horns. Depends on the scene you look at. Hmm, interesting. You got, well, let's try a light gray. Let's try gray with gray. Get a new palette out. Oh yeah, I'm fairly happy with this. Kind of gives it that evil goat from the witch vibes. That's what I was going for. That was just one of those films that people either loved it or hated it. I loved it. It was very atmospheric and very unsettling. And that movie made me an Anya Taylor-Joy fan just from her unearthly appearance. Her what's the word for it? She's just like fantastical looking. Like there's something fairy-like about her or something. It just makes her interesting. All right, so we'll let those horns dry up, and that'll pretty much bring us to the almost the top of the hour. So when we come back next week, we'll work on the fur trim of these guys. Uh, a lot of the details, right? The fur trim, the arrow shafts and fletching, those little ram's head clasps and buckles on their leathers, and then the bow. And then we're pretty much done. We got to do the base and then probably wrap these guys up. That's two more that we could put in the done pile probably next week. That's pretty cool. Thanks to speed paints. We've got kind of the brown themed and then the black theme rider. And I always like if I have two very identical miniatures when I put them on the table, I like to have them painted slightly different just so I can easily tell them apart while I'm running the game. So while I'm keeping track of these as a GM, I'd probably be like, okay, brown goat rider 1, black goat rider 2, and they've got this many hit points and go. So yeah, thanks, Jinx. Appreciate that. So we'll work on those probably next week, depending. We might have some other miniatures that we have that get printed out that I might need to put on the put them up in the paint order faster than these guys, depending on what our plans are going forward for some of this new content we've got on the horizon. So we'll see what happens next week. If I get some models printed out, I just might be slapping some paint on those guys. We'll see. We'll see what our thoughts are. But stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for those big announcements for new content coming your way. And as always, check out the Patreon. If you are here watching and you haven't followed already, please follow the channel here. You can go over to YouTube. These videos get uploaded to YouTube up as there as well, so you can subscribe there. All that stuff. Check out the Patreon. Can't forget to mention that every little bit of support that everybody here gives is so much appreciated. Coming and watching the shows, engaging with us, the performers, the painters, the cast and crew. We love every minute of it. We love all the support we get from everybody. So thank you so much from all of us to everybody out there watching. Thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. And check out Thursday. I think Overwatch is going to be streaming tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'm still not sure what game he's deciding on, but I think he's going to be back in the streaming seat, bringing us some live play. My fingers are crossed he's going to play Farm Simulation again, and Evil can give him a hard time. But that's what I find funny. Other people might not find that hilarious. I do. But check out at 8 o'clock tomorrow and see what's going on. Until then, yeah, thanks everybody. Have a great night as well. Take care. Be careful out there in the weather. Stay warm. Stay thawed. And we'll see you next time. Good evening.